I'm striving to get rich. That's why I almost went 2 years without buying shoes and fits. Things change now. My mom hearing me with my music and she look a little proud.
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and welcome back to another Power Rankings. This is the Power Rankings after week 11. I'm not gonna make this intro long, so let's go ahead and dive right into these rankings. First, we have the Washington football team. This team is a little bit hard to judge, seeming as if Cincinnati their offense didn't really play well without the loss of Joe Burrow. Washington, I'm going to have them, you know what, despite the win, I'm going to put Washington at an F. They just have, I think, offensively, they're not able to sustain key momentum. Defensively, I think it's the same way. They're not able to necessarily be consistent on either side of football, so I'm going to have them in an F. Next up, San Francisco. I think is the most damaged team in the NFL. The most damaged team in football with all of the injuries that they've sustained. This team could have been easily at the top two, A or B, if it wasn't for the injuries, but they have so many injuries and it's just too much to overcome, so I'm going to leave them at a D. Next, we have my Chicago Bears. I'm also going to put them at a D. I know they're 5-5, but let's face it, this offense is atrocious. The Bears' offense is absolutely atrocious, to say the least. The defense is still elite, but you cannot win when you cannot score points. You cannot win when you cannot move the football. Next, I'm going to have the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm also going to put them at a D. Now, it's going to be very, very interesting to see the Cincinnati Bengal team without Joe Burrow, with that horrible, horrible knee injury. They play absolutely hard. I love how this Bengals team plays. They're just not experienced and they're still learning, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see them going forward without Joe Burrow, who is having a tremendous rookie season. Next, we're going to have the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to put the Buffalo Bills in an A. I think they are still on pace to win the AFC East. Their defense is absolutely tremendous, and I love how Josh Allen has been playing the past couple of weeks. Now, they are coming off of a bye week this week, but I still have the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion, in an A. I love how this team plays. It is great to see the progression of Josh Allen. And this defense, like I said, has been a very, very good defense. Next, we're going to have the Denver Broncos coming off a much-needed win against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to put them in a D. Drew Lock, still, I don't believe he's the guy for them going forward. But he did play better against the Miami Dolphins, who I think was the most surprising team in football. And for them to pick up a much-needed win against the Dolphins was pretty impressive. Look, especially seeing how this Broncos team has been looking all season long. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns. Now, it's a hard flip for this team between A and B. Let me get these ads out. It's a hard flip between A and B for this team. I can't put them at an A just yet. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, he still has to cut down on the turnovers and the mistakes. But even without Myles Garrett, and this week they'll probably be without Denzel Ward, I still have this big Browns team at an B. I'm still liking what they're able to do as far as running the football with Nick Chubb back in the lineup and Kareem Hunt. I think they have the best backfield tandem in football with those two very special running backs. So I'm going to put the Browns at a B. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a big loss last night against the LA Rams. I'm going to also put them at a B. I still believe in what they can do offensively. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get acclimated with Antonio Brown added to the fold. I still like what they were doing with as far as Tom Brady moving the football, but he has been prone to turnovers this season, especially last night. So I like what they're doing offensively, but my question coming into the season with Tampa Bay was always their defense, and I still think That's the big question with the Buccaneers. I still don't believe that they can be consistent enough defensively to make a run. I know the offense can be consistent enough, but I've always been one to question the consistency of their defense. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals. A big loss to Seattle on Thursday night. I'm also going to put them at a B. I am still a big believer in Kyler Murray. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, is the best wide receiver in the league. They have a very good running game who's ranked top in the league. Their defense, the only question about them, I think, is creating pass rush. They were able to get out to Russell Wilson a bit, but that has been a bad Seattle offensive line. But I still like what they're doing as far as defense. I think they just need to create a little bit more of a pass rush without Chandler Jones. They need to create a little bit more of a pass rush, but I like what they're doing offensively, and I like some of the things defensively. Next, we're going to the LA Chargers. This team was hard to grade, but I'm going to put them at a D. It's just they do not find ways to win those close games. They were able to pull off a victory this past week, but this team has consistently not been able to win those close games. I know that victory was against the Jets, so I'm not going to put too much stock into it. I really, really like what Justin Herbert has been able to do so far in his rookie year. Defensively, I just think they're so ravished by a lot of injuries to Ingram, Bosa being in and out of the lineup, and Derwin James not being there. So I just think defensively they are dealing with a lot of injuries. I like Anthony Lynn as a coach personally. He's really got this team playing absolutely hard. They just have to find ways to win those close football games. Next, we're going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to have them at an A. Now, my question with this Chiefs team has always been defensively. They haven't been able to create so much pass rush. They really didn't create a lot of it against the Raiders. So, offensively, we know this team is elite offensively. With Patrick Mahomes, Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and the guys. That crew is absolutely elite offensively. But the question for me with the Kansas City Chiefs has always been on their defense. Can they create much pass rush? Can they create the turnovers that they need to create? Because I think this defense is more predicated on turnovers and big plays versus just making those key stops. So I'll still have them at an A, but my question with them has always been defense. Next, we're coming up with the Indianapolis Colts coming off a win against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to have the Indianapolis Colts. This is tough, but I'm going to put them at a B. I really like what they were able to do defensively, especially in the second half against Aaron Rodgers. Despite what happened on the last drive, that really got me ticked off a little bit. But I really like what they're doing defensively. I just think offensively they can use a little bit more consistency. But I really like what this defense is doing with DeForest Buckner up front leading the charge with Xavier Rhodes and Darius Leonard in the lineup. I'm really liking what this defense has become. Next, we're going to the Dallas Cowboys. They did come off a win against Minnesota this past week, but I'm still going to have them at an F. I just don't. It's something about this team that just. This whole division, honestly, that just. I'm not a fan of this whole division. I'm a big Ezekiel Elliott fan, but as far as what this team is on defense, they did play a little bit better, albeit against Kirk Cousins, but I'm just not a fan of this defense one single bit. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins. The loss to Denver really hurts. I'm still having them as my most surprising team in the NFL. I just think Brian Flores, in my opinion, should have some huge consideration for Coach of the Year. The way he's had this Miami Dolphins team playing, even with the quarterback change from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa, this Dolphins team has still been playing absolutely good football, creating a lot of turnovers, and that has really been key to their 5-game winning streak, even though it ended this past Sunday against Denver. Tua, I think he was dealing with a little bit of an injury as to why the fact that he was benched. But I still love the way this Dolphins team has grown. I love the way that they're playing right now despite the loss. Next, we're going to have Philly. I'm going to put them in an F. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm just going to put both the Eagles and the Giants in the F. This entire NFC East division has just been brutal. It has just been brutal. Turnovers with Daniel Jones and turnovers with Carson Wentz, who leads the league in turnovers. This NFC East division is just bad. It's the most... I think this is the worst division I've ever seen in my life of watching football. I've seen the division winning at 7-9. I can easily see the winner of this division going somewhere between 5-11 and 6-10. That's how bad this division has been. 7-9, I think, is a stretch even as of right now. But 7-9, or 6-10. I'm sorry, 6-10. I think would be the record of the winner of this division, to be honest with you. Next, we're going to have the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to put them in a D, but I love what they're doing offensively. It's just their defense cannot stop anybody. Their defense cannot stop anybody. Even Taysom Hill playing the way he played against that bad Atlanta defense. Atlanta defense is just not very good right now. It is not very good. Next, Jacksonville. I'm also going to put them in an F. I mean, this team is just... I think they need to tank for a quarterback. I don't believe in Gardner Minshew, even though Loudon has played pretty solidly. It's just... This team has just way too many problems. Way too many problems. But next, we're going to go to the New York Jets. They have their own category for a reason. They're awful. They're terrible. They're trash. Any bad word you can explain for this team, explain it. But why does Adam Gase still have a job? Why? I want to know, why does Adam Gase still have a job? Why? I just don't get it. I don't understand. What does he have? Pictures of the owners or something? I don't get why this guy still has a job to this day. I don't understand it. Next, we have Detroit. I can't put them at an F. I cannot do it. They've had some inconsistent plays so far, but I cannot put them at an F. I cannot do it. Matthew Stafford, I've been saying this, the most underrated quarterback. He's a great potential quarterback on a bad team. Their defense has been spotty. Offense can consistently play well, but their defense has been so inconsistent that it has them at where they are now. And getting shut out against Carolina was not a good look. Was not a good look at all. I still don't have them in an F. I don't believe they're in the bottom tier, to at least my vantage point. So I'm going to put them in a D. Next up, we have that team. Despite the loss to the Colts, I'm still going to have them as a top team, at least in my opinion. Their defense has been inconsistent this year as well. Aaron Rodgers is having another stellar season. Aaron Jones has been playing well. Jamal Williams. And that wide receiving core, even though it's been much criticized over the offseason, has been proven to be a very solid wide receiving core. Of course, led by Devontae Adams. You have Lazard that is playing well. Valdez-Scantling, I know he's going to get criticism for the fumble, but he's had a really good season as well. And their offensive line has been playing solid as well. Their defense it's a good defense, don't get me wrong, but it's had some inconsistent moments at times. But as much as I hate to do this as a Bear fan, I'm going to put them in an A. Next, we're going to have Carolina. Now, Carolina, I put them at a C. I don't think they're as bad sometimes as their record shows. I think they're still growing together with Matt Rule in his first year. I think they're starting learning to gel together. And it's been without Christian McCaffrey for the majority of the season. Mike Davis has came in and played really well. Teddy Bridgewater was out when P.J. Walker, the XFL guy, came in and played absolutely good football. The defense played a lot better than I expected them to against Detroit, with shutting them out. So I'm going to leave the Carolina Panthers at a C at this point. Next, we're going to have the New England Patriots. As much as it pains me to do, I'm going to put them at a C. I'm still a believer in Newton. Now, this defense has been spotty, and I think they've been ravaged with guys not opting out of the season. And I still think this defense is very solid. I still am a believer in Cam Newton in his play. He played better against Houston last week. But I'm going to leave the New England Patriots at a C. Next, we have I almost wanted to say Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders. It still feels weird to say that. The Raiders. This was another tough team to rank. Because I'm really liking how Derek Carr has been playing. I'm really liking how Josh Jacobs in his running game has been effective. The defense has been playing a whole hell of a lot better. I'm going to put the Raiders at a B. I still am a believer in Gruden, the way he has this team playing. And despite all that way they had to deal with the COVID test amongst their defense, they still came out and played absolutely well against the Chiefs team with that offense. And I'm still a believer in Derek Carr and the things that he's been able to do this season. And that offensive line, led by Hudson, has been very, very solid. So I'm going to move the Raiders to a B. Next, we're going to have the Los Angeles Rams coming off a win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. I'm also going to put the LA Rams at a B. Jared Goff has been looking very solid. The defense has been playing absolutely well, turning the football over. 2 picks from Jordan Fuller from the Ohio State University last night. I just had to get that in. But this Rams team has been playing some really good football. The defense has been looking very well. Aaron Donald, he was pretty much slowed down last night, but last night proved that this defense is a lot more than just Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Last night against a really, really tough Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense proved that this LA Rams team is much more defensively than just Ramsey and Donald. And the offense has been moving the ball very, very consistent. Next, we're going to have the Ravens. My hang-up on the Ravens has always been the outside passing game. It has always been the outside passing game. Tennessee really exposed it last year in the playoffs. And it has not really much improved, in my opinion, from there. A lot of their throws have been up the middle in between the numbers. When this offense is forced to go outside of the numbers, it tends to struggle. The defense, I still think, is one of the better defenses in the NFL. But when Lamar Jackson and his offense is trying to attack outside the numbers, it struggles. It absolutely struggles. Next, New Orleans Saints. Now, it's interesting to see how they go a couple of more weeks without Breeze, but this offense is still able to put up points. Michael Thomas had his best game of the year so far. Alvin Kamara, I think, is still the best absolute tool, weapon in football. And that defense has been playing a whole hell of a lot better the past couple of weeks. Led by Cam Jordan, Malcolm Jenkins from Ohio State. Charles Lattimore from Ohio State didn't play, but I still believe that this Saints team is a very, very good football team. Next, we have Seattle. I'm going to put them in an A as well. I'm still a believer in Russell Wilson and his offense. The offensive line still struggled a bit against Arizona. Defense came out and played a lot better against Arizona's offense, who I still think is one of the better offenses in this league. So the way that they looked against Arizona and the way that this team was able to pull out a much-needed victory coming off of back-to-back losses, it was a much-needed win against a very good Arizona Cardinal football team. Next, we're going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers at an A, easily, still undefeated. In my opinion, I think it's still the most complete team in football. They're able to beat you with offense, defense, and also special teams. Big Ben is looking very, very good. Chase Claypool is, I think, the best wide receiver in this rookie class so far this year. And this defense led by Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick has been really flying around and really, really going to the football and creating havoc. Having a sack in every game for the last 4 years is just a crazy streak. So, the Steelers, A, the most complete team of football in my honest opinion. Next, we're going to have the Houston Texans coming off a big win over the New England Patriots. I'm going to put the Houston Texans at a D. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson. I love the way he's been able to play football despite all the adversity that is going on with this franchise. The defense, it's still been left areas to question. but I'm still going to put the Houston Texans at a D. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to put the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to put them at a B, coming off a big win over the Baltimore Ravens. They are playing great football. Derrick Henry, great football. Their defense has been very underrated, at least in my opinion. They've been playing some really solid football. Ryan Tannehill has been playing well, and I really like how this Titans team plays football, and I'm going to put them at a B. Last but not least, we have the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to put them at a D. Even though I'm not a big believer in Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook is playing absolutely well. Their defense is still creating havoc, but I think this team could have been better offensively to me if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins' up and down and inconsistent play. He's not a bad quarterback. To me, he's just played inconsistent football. So I'm going to have the Minnesota Vikings at a D. But those are my rankings for this week. Leave this video a like so we can help beat the YouTube algorithm. If you agree or disagree with any of the rankings that I have of your favorite team, leave your comments in the comment section down below. I would really love to see what you guys think about this week's power rankings. But those are my rankings. That's all I've got. APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next day, and I will see you guys in the next vid. Peace.
I wanna say thank you to my mom and my daddy for making love the night that you had me. Wanna thank my friends, my sister, and my brother.